Hey guys, it's Jo. Welcome back to Trauma Talk. Having a crazy hair day, so I don't really care at this point because I want to talk to you guys. But welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to address one of the most hurtful phrases that is repeated over and over and over, and I've heard aimed at me and at other people who've experienced abuse, and explain why it is so detrimental. Now, I did a video right when I started my channel that was about this as well, but I thought it was worth addressing again and sort of rephrasing. That phrase is "don't let them win," in reference to someone's abuser, attacker, someone who caused someone trauma, whatever it is. It sounds like a good thing to say, and it apparently seems like a rational thing to say because, like I said, I've heard it myself so many times, and I've heard so many other people express the same thing, that this phrase really messes with their heads, and I know that it really messed with mine. This phrase usually ends up coming out when someone is having a difficult time dealing with the aftermath of abuse or trauma. Like, for instance, when I was having a really hard time going out in public in the weeks after I was sexually assaulted, someone said to me, "Don't let him win, Jo. You gotta get out of the house, you've gotta go do stuff, otherwise you're gonna let him win." And I can't begin to explain to you how badly that messed with my head, because this horrible thing had happened to me, right? And I was doing my best to try to wrap my head around it, to try to process it, try to figure out what happened, to try to figure out life now because everything was different. And then someone was suggesting that I was bowing down to it, that I was essentially letting it continue to happen, if that makes any sense. That I was continuing to allow this person to have control over me. Just generally speaking, suggesting that a victim in a crime is in any way allowing their attacker or abuser to do something to them is really detrimental, because generally speaking, victims in crimes feel like things are their fault anyways. And so when you say that, you're just confirming the idea that they already have in their head. So when this person said to me, "You're letting him win, Jo," I just wanted to go jump off a bridge. I was like, well, screw it. If I can't get out of bed or go out in public, and that means that I'm allowing him to control my life, then I just didn't even know how to begin to process that, because I already felt like getting raped was my fault. I already felt like 11 months of abuse was my fault. And then I had gotten out of this abusive relationship and was in the early aftermath, and then someone was suggesting that I was allowing him to control me. The reality of the situation is that I was dealing with fresh trauma, and people who have been traumatized have a really hard time adjusting to life. Everything is different. It takes a while. It takes a long time to figure out how to live again. There are a lot of symptoms that people experience when trying to readjust to life. And a better way to respond is to listen and then ask how you can help. Because one of the most powerful and one of the most healing things that you can do for someone who has gone through trauma is listen, is be present and just listen. And let them know that you're there for them and not give unasked for advice. I continue to hear that phrase throughout years of healing from what happened to me. And every time it was like a slap in the face. I know that the intention behind it was good. I know that the person didn't want me to hurt. They didn't want me to have a hard time with whatever I was experiencing. But the message that came across was, "You're weak, get over it." And I don't think that that's what people are necessarily intending to say. That is how it comes across, at least in my experience and the experience of people that I talk to. So if this is something that you've said to people or think is a good idea to say to people, that's just my take on it. In my experience, it is a really harmful thing to hear as someone who's been traumatized, and a much more helpful thing to do is to listen and say you'll be there and ask how you can help. I'm Jo Beckwith, and this is Trauma Talk. Remember to hit subscribe or like if you're on Facebook so you don't miss upcoming videos. I release them every other day, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much.